Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jacob. I am going to be your designated teacher and host and doodler for today. This is Creative Challenges, Illustrator Creative Challenges. You've probably seen me before this month. This is my third week here on Adobe Creative Challenges. I'm super excited, and it's going to be a lot of fun today. We're going to be learning some new tools and how to utilize them, and it's going to be so much fun. So I'm going to dive right into it. I want to give you some resources, and also something you might notice is this isn't live. That is just because we have some events going on today, so this one is pre-recorded, but make sure you stick around. You're not going to be losing anything on this. There's still going to be a lot of content and things that we're going to be able to provide, and of course, yeah. So let's hop over to the main page over here. If you want to follow along with me, make sure you sign up to the Creative Challenges page. Click this little blue button right here. I've already clicked signing up to get notified. But of course, when you do, you'll get notified of all of the Illustrator challenges as well as any other challenges that you're interested in. And also, make sure you head over to, let's see if we can, there we go, to the Discord. The Discord's a great place to get feedback. And especially if you are watching this back and you want to talk with me or get some updates on how, get some feedback and have fun, make sure you hop over to the Discord, submit your work. We love talking and kind of posting stuff that we worked on. You can see some stuff from last week that we had a ton of fun with. But yeah, let's just hop into Illustrator. Let's talk about what we're doing today, and let's learn some stuff. So over here in Illustrator, you'll see I have a little character that I've drawn. Today is going to be all about creating stickers, sticker mockups, pretty much just having assets either for your thumbnails, for Instagram, or for YouTube, or even if you just want to, mock something up to see if someone's interested in having some stickers from you. This is what this is for. So the best place to start with this process is obviously having your design. In this case, I have this little apple here. You can also use PNGs, things that are fully, traced out or imported in. Make sure they have a transparent background. You want it to be, as shaped as possible, so you don't have to worry about having things clip, because we're going to be working in outlines today. But really anything can work. In this case, for this case use, we're going to be using this vectored design that I did. Really what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some effects in order to make this illustration really pop and make it kind of come across like a sticker. There's a few techniques that you can use. It's pretty simple. And there's some really fun use applications for that. So typically the first thing I like to do is make sure that my illustration, is grouped up. What I'm going to do as well, just so we can see two examples, is I'm just going to rasterize this image to make sure it's all on the same layer. And this is kind of what we want to avoid, right? We want to avoid this white kind of shape around. And if you're importing a PNG, or if you have some art that you maybe are reusing on a background, the easiest way to get rid of this white box around your character is by going up to Object, Image Trace, Make and Expand. And we'll have a little panel like this that will show up. And what we can do is we can just click OK. And then it will expand those objects. If you go over to the direct selection tool, you can click on this background and you can delete it. There you go. Now you have a flat image that you can use for this process. If you are like me and you're working in your vectored work and you want to keep the outlines, if you want to keep your pen tool connected to where you can resize this however you want, just make sure when you do go to your, edit. I believe I'm looking for the transform tool somewhere around here. There we go. Go to Window, Transform, and just make sure your scale corners and scale strokes and effects are turned on. just because if you are going to be using this for promo, you want to make sure that your stroke sizes accordingly instead of having this weird, like, thin shaped character. It's never fun. Just a little tip, just for some practical use. So, first step, if you want to add that outline around your character, this is my favorite way to do it. There are easier ways to do it, of course, but I find this to be the fastest. All you want to do, what I'm going to do, actually, even before we get started with that, is I'm just going to make a background color on our artboard, just so you can see that differentiation of the character and the stroke. All I'm doing here is going over to the rectangle option, choosing the color of the background, or I should say the outside of the artboard, making it the shape of the artboard, and I'm just going to bring it all the way down to the bottom so we can see our characters and lock that image. So what you can do is click on your character, and all you need to do is click Command C and Command V. And you'll see that I copied my character over here, and you can drag it over top and try to get it all centered up. You could use the Align tool to get these all centered up, but even over that, my favorite method, which is not what I did initially, is just click Shift Command V and it'll paste right on top of that image, so you don't have to worry about it being unaligned. Now what I like to do is I like to name or label my designs or my characters and my layers, just so I know what I'm working with. So I'll go ahead and name this first layer Art, and I'll name this second layer Stroke. Now that I have my art and my stroke layer labeled, what I can do is I can go ahead and turn off the view of my art. You'll probably notice that there isn't much of a difference, but what you can do now is click on your stroke layer, I should say, go to the stroke panel. If you don't see the stroke panel, you can just go over to Window, Stroke, and that'll bring up the stroke panel. And what I want to do is I want to create a stroke around this image. So what I can do is just click on the weight up arrow and add a bit of a stroke to this image. You'll probably immediately notice something with this design and with this stroke effect, and that is that it is creating the stroke on the inside. And that's something that we can't really change when we're working in vectors or working with PNGs, and that is why I like to do this method, because if we go over to our stroke, let's go ahead and change the color to white. You'll see we'll kind of have this like filled out shape kind of look. And when we turn on our art, it gives us this nice outline around it. You can adjust that stroke layer as much or as little as you want. So say, let's zoom in a little bit here. If we want to turn this down and have a bit of a smaller stroke, or if we want to turn it up, have a really, really thick stroke like a die cut sticker, we can do that. I personally like the thicker strokes just because it's a bit of a nicer vibe and it feels like you're just peeling the sticker right off. So what you can do after you are happy with your stroke size is you can just go ahead and highlight your whole image, click Command G, and over here you'll see it'll group that, and we'll name this Apple Sticker 1. Perfect. So we've got a general idea down of how to make our stroke around our image. But what if we have a vector shape? What if we have something that isn't a PNG? Well, it's actually pretty simple, and it's going to be kind of the same process. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click Command C and Command V. We're going to go ahead, and if you want, you can rename your group. Since we are working on a bit of a time limit, I'm just going to go ahead and work through this without naming my groups. Probably not the smartest idea, but hey, we're working on a time limit. So I'll go ahead and remove this top image, and I'm going to click on my character, and again, go to Object, Image Trace. Whoops. Actually, even before image tracing, make sure you rasterize. So we'll rasterize, go to Object, Image Trace, make and expand, go ahead and click OK. It'll expand that image, and then we can just delete this background. Same as this character over here with the direct selection tool, clicking on that background and then clicking delete. Then same as this over here, we can just go to our stroke panel, go ahead and make this stroke about 90 because that's what we liked. You'll notice with this specific character, because it isn't image traced and because there are still some outlines that are being preserved in this image. You'll see some little spikes. That's just because with these corners, automatically you're going to have these miter joins, I guess is what you're called, like the butt caps or the essentially what I'm trying to say is the flat sharp edges. If you want to change that, all you need to do is just click on these rounded edges and then these will go away. And then you can just turn on your image, your top layer, and look, we have the same exact image, same exact layer. Super easy, super fast, and very convenient. And when you are extending your image, then you can scale this up or down as small or as large as you want. So we can go even further with this too. We can add even more effects to these stickers. And one of my favorite ways to really highlight something is a sticker is by first, of course, throwing it on a white background. And I bet you're wondering, well, you can't see the outline anymore, Jacob. Why would you throw it on a white background? Well, there's a little technique we can use by clicking on our bottom group, going over to the effects panel, clicking stylize in the top section under the Illustrator effects, not the Photoshop effects, and then clicking drop shadow. And you'll notice, of course, as the name states, we have a bit of a drop shadow. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to exit out of this panel real quick and zoom in a little further. So let's go effect, stylize, drop shadow. And now you can see that we're kind of getting this 3D text effect, which I really, really like. Typically, I like to keep this on multiply, but I would mess around with it however you see fit. I'm going to go ahead and extend these edges a little bit. The Y offset is going to bring your shadow up or down, and your X offset is going to bring it left or right. Very, very easy. Editing the blur tool here is just going to give your shadow a bit more of a softer edge. It's going to disperse it a little bit differently. I usually like to keep mine within between 10 and 15. And your color down here is going to, of course, be the color of your shadow. Sometimes I like to mess around with a lighter grayish color, which gives it a softer look. But for this instance, I'm just going to use this black. Perfect, perfect. So now we can click OK. And we have a nice, soft little edge to our sticker. And it's looking even closer and closer to what we're hoping for. But this is with black and white, right? This is with some simple illustrations that, they look okay, but I want to add some color to this. So let's do it with some illustrations that have color. Same concept. I went ahead and on my second artboard over here, I prepared some characters that I thought were really cute. Obviously, these are some fruits and, just the ones that I immediately think of. We've got a peach, an orange, and an apple, similar to this apple over here with some different colors. Here, funny enough, looks like I messed up that right there. We'll just fix that. But we're going to be approaching this under the same concept. I want to just add a background just to make this process a little bit faster. But what we'll do is we'll actually ungroup these characters just so they're all in their different respective marquee or reference boxes. Let's go ahead and make some copies. So, whoops, I'm going to go ahead and Command-C and Shift-Command-V. Copy this one over, and let's rename this to top, or we'll do apple, and then we'll do apple outline. We'll do the same for this. Just click on the character. Make sure when you're clicking on the character that you're clicking on the character with the selection tool, not the direct selection tool, because if you do, then you're only going to get pieces of your illustration, which is never fun. Make sure your character is also grouped up because you don't want to make any mistakes in copying over some parts of the image and then them not being retained in the outline. It just can be a whole mess. So we'll go ahead and click Command-C, Shift-Command-V, and it went ahead and pasted that image over top. And we'll just drag this down with the direct selection tool. We'll go orange and orange outline. And then we'll do that same exact process with the peach, and peach outline. Perfect. So we'll go ahead and remove all of these top layers of these characters, and let's go ahead and start rasterizing and image tracing these characters. You'll notice with the image trace tool on its normal setting that when you image trace these characters, they do turn black and white. For the use case of you making outlines, it really doesn't matter because you're not going to be seeing the bottom layer regardless. So I'm just quickly implementing that effect that we talked about by just rasterizing all of these layers, image tracing them. You'll get some funny effects, especially if you're only on a 2-color image trace setting. I think it's really funny when you have the outlines kind of bleed into the actual character itself. Just image trace one more time. That one looks like it did not want to read that. An easy way to fix that is just by clicking on your character itself and making these outlines black. Again, the actual coloring of the character isn't as important. Sometimes if your illustration is too light, then it is going to pick up those colors as white, which is never good. And when I say pick up, I mean the image trace tool itself. So we'll go ahead and just image trace, make and expand, and look at that. Easy peasy. We'll delete that background. And we can actually just click all of these at once if we want to. We can highlight it with the direct selection tool, or we can go ahead and click and hold shift and click every single one. We're just going to add a nice thick stroke to it. Make sure that's white. You'll see these spikes. We'll make sure we'll click on these caps just to make sure nothing is overlapping. And then let's turn on our art shapes. And look at that. We have a sticker effect. Super easy, super fast, and really doesn't take too much energy at all. Let's go ahead and group up these layers. And let's kind of do some variations. Let's add some with a drop shadow. We'll drop this size down just a hair. We'll go click on this and go to Effects, Stylize, Drop Shadow. It should retain that same drop shadow style that I had in my previous sticker. Click OK. I'm liking this. You know, I'm starting to really see the vision, but again, we can go even further with these things, and that's my favorite part about doing these vector designs or adding these kind of mock-up sticker effects is we can do more. The easiest way to do that is, in my opinion, adding it to an image. And for that, we're going to go over to Adobe Stock. Adobe has some great free options that we can use to really utilize, I guess, putting some promotion to our designs. You know, if I was selling this on a web store, I would definitely want it to be as appealing as possible. I don't want to just be holding up a sticker and say, you know, go buy this on my store. That's just not how I fly, but power to you if you do. So my idea would be, you know, let's put this behind a fruit stand because these are fruits, right? And it'd be very helpful if I spelled fruit stand correctly. There we go. Like I said, all of these stock images are free and free use. Just make sure to double check. I'm kind of scrolling through here, seeing what my favorite option would be. Personally, I'm really liking this one. But I wonder if we can get any others that look just as good. I like this. I also really like this. These are not free though. So let's scroll back up. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's go with this guy. Lots of options, very colorful. Let's go ahead and license that. You notice it's saved to my library and it's saving to my downloads. Let's also do one more just for the sake of variance. This guy right over here. Perfect. That brought that over to our library, saved it to our downloads. Let's go back to our Illustrator program and let's import these stock images in. Great. Some high quality stock images from Adobe Stock. So we'll bring this over and let's go ahead and create a new artboard. Really all you need to do is go over to your artboard panel and just click new artboard. I'm going to make 2 for the sake of this example, and let's resize these images. The way you can do that is by clicking Shift, clicking on one of these little panels, and sizing it to your artboard. I want to go even a step further with this, and I want to just make sure I crop my image. Let's go to Edit. Should be a crop option somewhere here. I might be looking right over it. I'm trying to speed a little bit. Let's see, select. That's okay. We can work around this for now. But we'll just go ahead and throw this on our artboard right here, and we'll grab this one over here and do the same down in the bottom just by resizing this image. I really like this realism style, or I should say realistic image with cute little personified stickers. I think I'm going to start with the one down here. And you know what? I don't want to take away from the sticker itself, because if, we drag this over on top of our image, let's make sure we're actually above the image. Here in the layers panel, you'll notice that it's underneath our linked file, so we can just drag that on top. I like this, but I feel like there can be more added to it, right? I feel like this could stand out even more, and it's a little distracting with the the fruit stand. So what I can do is I can actually click on that image. Let's go to Effects, Stylize, down here. Now let's go to Blur. Let's go to Gaussian Blur. Should bring up a nice panel for us. It'll take a second. Slowly but surely. Playing the waiting game. Gaussian Blur is the one tool that Illustrator does not like to use with me. So close, perfect. All right, and we have our preview set up. So let's just bring this up a little bit more. Of course, it's going to take a second for us. Probably not as long as the first time. Or maybe as long as the first time. Obviously, I don't want to take up too much time with these edits. We're just trying to get an example down. So once this is loaded up, we can just go ahead and click OK. Perfect. And now we have a bit of a blur, kind of having like that depth of field vibe to this image, which I like a lot. Of course, if we weren't on a time limit, I would try to blur this out a little bit more and add a few more options. But we could make a whole series with this. We could add some more artboards. We could bring our image over by copying and pasting it. See if it'll be mad at me. Got to add that Gaussian blur effect again. Oh, the joys of that blue little bar. Better than the beach ball, I would say, because the beach ball makes me panic. Here we go, here in 1 second. Speaking of the beach ball, there we go. We'll just drag this over here, lock these layers. Let's bring over our orange because that's one of my favorites. Let's size it up to our character here. Make sure it looks as similar as possible. Let's just add a drop shadow just to give that extra depth of layers. And let's sync it up to this artboard. Let's align it. Perfect. Now we have a whole series. We can expand this even further if we wanted to. We could add more. We could set this up on our website if we wanted people to purchase it. And, it has an unlimited amount of applications. You can even add it to like a desk if you want to make it look like, you're slapping the sticker on the desk. There's a lot of fun with this specific tool and these techniques in making your characters look like stickers. I really hope you learned something with this today. I had a lot of fun designing out these characters. I'd love to see your take on this. My working files are going to be available down in the Illustrator challenges page. And if you want, you can scroll down here, unlock the challenges, and click and download my files. Again, as well, make sure you hop over into the DCC feedback in Adobe Illustrator Discord if you want to submit or get feedback or just see other people doing the same thing and having a lot of fun. We have a lot more stuff coming up today, so make sure you don't miss out on it. Thank you so much for tuning in to my Adobe Illustrator stream challenges, and I hope you have a great day. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.